Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Listen, imagine staking your XRP not through DeFi roulette, but through regulated institutional grade platforms that give you yield, airdrops, and utility. In this video, I'm going to break down how Firelight Pi unlocks liquid staking for XRP, giving you a liquid staking token, an LST, you can borrow against, trade, or use to boost yield on Flare. But that's just the beginning. You'll also hear about the new wave of curated lending pools. I had never heard this term before with this lending platform. We're going to get into that. And it's built for professionals. And an XRP backed stablecoin that mimics institutional delta hedging strategies to maintain peg. This is regulated DeFi. I can't believe I'm saying that. This is regulated DeFi in motion. And it's way bigger than retail is paying attention to. Let's get into it. Happy freaking Saturday to each and every one of you guys. Holy moly, it's hot up in Tejas right now. It's baking in this joint. I got my thing on because we got the air conditioning in here. It is powerful in the house. So anyway, happy Saturday to each and every one of you. We're going to get into it. This is some information, some insights, some alpha that I got from this latest interview with Jake Claver and Hugo Fillion. It was really a good interview. We're going to get into it. We're going to rapid fire through this video. What's going on, Pookie? Pookie, how are you, my friend? No need to go over the market. Market's just doing what it does. No need to really cover the numbers. Bitcoin is around $108,000. XRP is around $2.30-something, right? Solana's around $170-something. No need to really get into the market. We're going to get right into that video. We're going to welcome more people into the stream for sure. Let me refresh this because this stream is not up to date. Again, happy Saturday. Appreciate you guys checking in. I know you could be doing a lot of things on a nice Saturday afternoon. I guess a lot of you guys kind of preparing for kids getting out of school, summer vacays and all that kind of stuff. I'm refreshing this live stream so that we make sure we got the chat up to date and it is accurate. Well, on a little side note, the Cetus protocol suffered a smart contracts kind of exploit. Word on the street, Pookie, it was because of a price manipulation. That's the word on the street. I don't know if we have the final confirmation, but the word on the street, it was a price manipulation. And it kind of speaks to Flare's prowess, right? Blockchain for data, protocols based around accurate prices, 100 validators, more so than anything out there. But that's the word on the street. I don't know how accurate it is, but that is the word on the street, that it was a price manipulation that would allow them to attack the bad guy or guys to attack Cetus. So that's the word on the street. We're going to have to check to see what's going on, Miguel. Hi, I'm originally from Houston. Oh, nice. Appreciate you checking in, bro. So that's kind of the word on the street. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into this interview with Jake Claver from Ascension Group, I believe it's called. And Hugo Fillion. It was a really good interview. I'm telling you, it was really, really good. Do me a favor, guys, hit that like button on the way in. That'd be really, really awesome. It's interesting to see the institutional part of Flare Networks playing out. I think that is fascinating. I heard the phrase many institutions from Hugo. He said many institutions are already integrated. We are already integrated with many institutions. Now, it's hard to think many is 5 or 6. That ain't many. Is many 10 or 15? I'm not sure. But Hugo Fillion said many. We're integrated with many institutions. So it's a big word. So we're going to get into that interview. I hope you guys had a chance to check that out in detail, but we're going to go through it and share some stuff together. Go over some stuff together because I think this is fascinating for some people that didn't get it. I did the live stream yesterday. I didn't go through the video, right? I kind of shared my thoughts on the video. So we're going to go through it. We're going to listen to it together, hang out a little bit on a Saturday. No libation. Well, I got my my agua, my water, but no snacks, no holy bread and cheese from the monastery today. But we're going to get into some stuff. So yeah, do me a favor, guys, hit the like button on the way in. That'd be awesome. What's up, y'all? What's going on, Pay Me an XRP? Hey, here in Encounter Force, live from Missouri, headed to Indiana, Burning Mouth. Oh man, nice. I hear you, my guy. I hear you. Appreciate you checking in, bro. Appreciate you checking in for sure. Let's get into this. I'm telling you, I'm going to start at the staking part of this video, but I highly, highly recommend you guys watch this video in its entirety. You will be excited if you're both an XRP holder and an FLR token holder. You're going to be excited about it. All right, so I'm going to make sure it's pulled up to the right moment, and then I'll share the screen so we all can check this thing out together. Staking. Yeah, that whole decentralized staking institutional partners. Yeah, that's what I want. And I'm still trying to figure out what is a swaps protocol. All right, what is a swaps protocol? Anyway, all right, so let me share the screen and we'll get into this. I wanted to get right into it. Right, we won't be on here very long. We won't keep you guys as long as we normally do, an hour or so. But I do want to kind of go over this video. All right, let's see. All right, share the screen. All right, let's take a listen. They got this, what does they call that? Bookmarked, chaptered out here. So the title of this particular thing is Staking and Institutional Partnerships with Flare. Staking and Institutional Partnerships with Flare. All right, so the first group that they're going to mention here is Firelight.
Staking through Firelight, which is built by an institutional partner. And that allows you to stake your XRP pretty low risk in order to secure services called actively validated services. And you receive their token in the same way that you would if you were staking, any other stakeable token. So you receive their token in order to provide value for network security for AESs. And this is pretty interesting aspect because you stake your XRP and you get a LST, a liquid staked token. So you get an LST of XRP, which you can then go and do other interesting things. You can borrow against that LST. You can borrow Flare, boost your yields by getting the Flare drops, and all of those kind of things. So quite interesting verticals. We're also onboarding neo lending protocols. These are very different to the existing lending protocols. These allow you to essentially participate in a pool that is managed by a professional entity that effectively curates your risk. This is starting to get into the territory of, regulated sort of DeFi. And then really the last thing we're very interested in having is a basis traded stablecoin. So this is a stablecoin that which you deposit XRP, you get a stablecoin, and then they take that XRP and they effectively create the stablecoin by hedging out the delta.
So that is definitely a TradFi strategy for sure, right? So again, Flare Networks is building out products that the people want to use. They're going to create, for me, big time, network adoption, big time increase in the wallets. That's a major deal, right? Increase in the wallets, creating network adoption, I think is big time awesome and important. Oh, turn up the volume, someone said. Let me see what we got. Right? I think that's going to be hugely important that, you build out products that people want to use. All right, so I think it's all the way up. Yeah, it's all the way up to this. Yeah, I'm all the way up here on the volume as well. So I think that's important. I think it's smart. What's going on, Jerry Brennan? Hope you're doing well. RSR, you got some RSR? Good night. Appreciate you being here, my friends. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. If you didn't get a chance to do so yet, no worries. Just collapse the chat real quick. Go smash the like and come back and hang out with the CryptoCeej and fan. Neo lending, and this trade basis. Well, you're going to deposit XRP and put yourself in a position to mint a stable coin. TradFi is going to love all this kind of stuff. They're going to love it. Institutional players are going to love it. Where am I at here? Let's go here. They're going to love that kind of stuff. That's what we need, right? Why is that? Okay, there it is. Let's go back. Come on, what's going on with my laptop? There it is.
Is the way that the token XRP moves against the market. They hedge out the delta in futures markets. They can do this either on chain through a perps market, or they can do it off chain through a centralized exchange. Now, this is absolutely, a product that requires KYC, AML, whitelisting. Not everyone's going to be able to deposit XRP and just mint this stablecoin, because effectively someone is managing that position on your behalf, and they need to make sure that you are effectively capable of managing that position on your behalf from a legal perspective. But it's a really, really interesting model. And I think it's like a really good institutional use case, other than what Ripple is doing for XRP, but a really good institutional use case for XRP in order to be able to create yield from this vast asset.
No, yeah, it's brilliant. So you and I talked about a little bit the strategies that we're running, and we utilize futures to be able to generate in-kind returns on XRP for our clients. But to be able to hedge it using futures to mitigate the volatility and then issue a stable coin against that position, I think that's brilliant. And then you can put that stable coin to work. Okay. So do you think that it's not an algorithmic stablecoin? You talked about, Luna.
Definitely not an algorithmic stablecoin.
Talked about Luna and the risk associated with that. But it wouldn't necessarily just be XRP. Like, you could do this with commodities also, using commodities.
You can do it with commodities. You can do it. It's already done with Ethereum. It's already done with Bitcoin. We will add Bitcoin to our particular version of it as well. But there's already one in the market that does it with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's what Ethena has about $4 billion worth of stablecoin issued. So I'm looking, if we could even get to 10% of the success of that, that would be $400 million of XRP minted on Flare. So the market opportunity here is absolutely huge in order to grow the DeFi ecosystem of Flare. And I think that's
that's a big number. But I do think that it's interesting that they are aware of what's going on with Ethena. I was listening to Arthur Hayes the other day, and he's big, advisor to, investor in Ethena and EtherFi, I believe, as well. But just 4 billion over there in affiliate in Ethena, that's a nice, total addressable market, something to attack. And he's suggesting if they could just get 10% of that in that space, that would be awesome. So they're attacking, I think, the right way, and bringing products to the marketplace that some of these institutions are going to be very, very interested in, but doing it in Flare Network's way, again, their own way, which I think is different than maybe what Ethena is doing as well. But there's a market out there. There's a thirst, desire for a product like that as well, which I think is important. I don't know if Ethena is its own chain. Let me check Ethena out. Let's go see if, or is it just what is it? Ethereum? Let's see. I don't think Ethena is its own chain. It's not. But let's check out. Let's search Ethena here and see what comes up. So you got, let's go here. See what they got going on over there. 5.26 billion. 5.26 billion in TVL. Interesting. 5.26 billion. Market cap at 2 billion for the token, I would imagine. Token liquidity fees. Annualized fees is 204 million. 204 million. It's pretty good. I don't use Ethena. Let's go check it out here. See. Ethena.fi. So just imagine again, digital dollars for the internet economy earned with USDE. What is this here? $121.46. I don't know, what is that for? $100 of stake USDE beginning of 2024, $121. All right. Holy Grail internet money. Interesting. All right, let me launch this app and see what's good here. 7% APY. Interesting. Oh, oh, how about that? The good old US of A can't participate. Well, how about that? Well, that's a major bummer. That is a major bummer. All right, let me do this. We just want to check that out a little bit. Let's see, what is the Hugo and the team doing, right? Let's see. That's an interesting product. Very, very interesting product. Let me we can't work around a little bit. See if we can't work around. Let's go. Let's do this. See if we can't work around that pookie USA restriction. What's going on right now? Right, we're still being protected. All right, let me see something here. Let me make sure this is working before I share a screen. All right. Share, that's fair. Let's take a look at this thing. All right, so it says 7% APY. I'm not going to connect the wallet. 6.6 billion in TVL. Swap, earn, rewards, opportunities, questions, claim, delegate. I don't have a portfolio. Stake ENA, stake to begin earning boosted rewards. And think about, we're going to be able, right? The FLR token and a lot of these things, right? It's going to be able to be leveraged, I'm sure. Let me hit this dashboard. I don't know if I'm on dashboard or portfolio here. All right, so what we got? Swap, earn, stake, and lock. That's pretty much it. 7% APY. Trailing 1 week daily average or protocol return transferred into the staking rewards distributor contract divided by average staked USDE each day, annualized with weekly compounding. The feature does not. Okay. Protocol backing ratio 101%. Cool. Total backing 5.27 billion. Total supply 5.20. Okay. Backing Bitcoin 32%, ETH 12%, ETH LSTs 5%, Solana. Interesting. And liquid stables. So that's interesting. They got these different exchanges here, which I guess participate there as well. Binance, Bybit, OKX, Deribit, and BitGet. Then they got their proof of reserves up here hanging out as well. So this is definitely institutions, bigger TradFi players that want to get a comfortable and I guess relatively safe yield. But the fact that this is a project or product that's going to be built on Flare, I think is awesome. All right, let's get back to this video. So that's Ethena. I'm not on Ethena, but that is Ethena. And Hugo is already thinking, trying to grab some of that market share. I think was awesome.
You to go down. Are you guys gonna look to integrate with institutions like, maybe Anchorage or Archax or some of the other,
Absolutely. We certainly, we already are integrated with a number of institutions. We are in the process of onboarding with a US certified institution, what they call it, qualified custodian, the US word for that. We're integrating with, we're already integrated with 2 or 3 entities that are regulated in the UAE, which is a large crypto market. And, we'll be integrated with many, we're integrated with Fireblocks. So, that's a very big, user base where, many users of DeFi and blockchain who are institutional execute their trades through. So yeah, we're fairly well integrated.
do you think that this will be mainly retail facing, or do you think that your products and services that you're curating will be more
Good question.
institutional enterprise adopted?
So there's a very large amount of institutions sitting on very, very large amounts of XRP. So, whilst I think retail will be important, I think really the very large slugs of XRP that come into Flare will come in from institutions.
It's interesting to me. So like I mentioned, I was around for the snapshot back in 2020, and the people that would have been participating at the time, there's 2.7.
Well, Wi-Fi.
An XRP wallet that were in that snapshot, and Ripple employees weren't allowed to participate in that. David Schwartz just happens to be a contractor of Ripple, and his motto is "Don't miss the next Ethereum."
Actually, Ripple employees were allowed to.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Wasn't.
Oh, Ripple itself was not, but Ripple employees were able to. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good verification.
If they held XRP separate from the Ripple labeled wallets, and also, I think Chris Lawson as a non-profit organization for whom we did allow that entity to claim because it seemed like a nice thing to do. So so that's
very cool.
Yeah, we just didn't we didn't allow Ripple to claim because we needed to keep some of the tokens for ourselves.
Well, it'd have been, the whole escrow that they had. So I guess on that, the escrow component, when you're locking up the XRP, you mentioned that you're going to be utilizing that as a way to create that functionality, just using the on-chain capability to escrow. So you wouldn't need an escrow agent for that. This is an on-chain capability that's not a third party. It's locked there. And so there wouldn't be any counterparty risk in this, aside from you not, repaying the debt. It would be you and that counterparty locked on chain, and the smart contract would regulate where those assets were distributed based on, the contingencies in the smart contract being met one way or the other.
Absolutely, and the value that goes into what's known as the core vault, it doesn't come from individuals. It comes from the agents. So it's a very, very, very constrained set of entities that are dealing with the core vault. The core vault is there to provide effectively liquidity to the system. And to be clear, it's not the design that I would like long term. It is a design that allows us to get XRP-Fi into production with a risk profile that I'm comfortable. Whereas the design that interests me long term is using the protocol managed wallet. This will be the first use case for protocol managed wallet. Now, the interesting thing about protocol managed wallets is that they can hold balances on any chain that Flare is connected to. They can control and execute directly from protocol on Flare. They can control and execute transactions that protocol needs to make. So consider that A protocol might be built on Flare that holds balances of Bitcoin, balances of stablecoins on many different smart contract chains, balances of XRP. Well, first of all, the first thing you could build is a really nice, really decentralized swaps protocol. Because it's completely using Flare. But the second thing is you can start lending those balances around separate from the exchange, of course, swaps protocol. You can start lending those balances to different chains when those chains need particular tokens, right? So there are liquidity constraints across the whole space all of the time. And this allows you to, provide liquidity when needed. And we are working with a partner to build really quite a sophisticated product that takes advantage of our protocol managed wallets and the compute the protocol managed wallets effectively sits in, which is called a trusted execution environment. Build a very sophisticated risk model that allows protocol to be built on Flare that can lend against people's positions on multiple chains that Flare is connected to.
Wow. That's very interesting.
That's what I described.
The Wi-Fi
As
decentralized prime broker, I think he says.
the decentralized prime broker for crypto.
So anyway, internet's messing up. I'm probably gonna hop off here. This internet's not great.
Blockchain and what effectively one is trying to achieve in blockchain is an autonomous protocol that is completely decentralized and effectively, because it's fully decentralized, there isn't a need for it to be regulated. And so if you have a risk model sitting in a off-chain thing.
So that is pretty cool. Autonomous protocol that is completely decentralized end to end is what he says in the video as well, which is, I just got to tell you that, and remember, this decentralized prime broker is something that they're working with already. They're working with the project already, building out. I don't know if it's more markets. It feels like that project, more markets. That's what it feels like, but we'll find out, I guess, here in the near future. But they got some really, really good things going on, and there's a reason why projects are standing in line to go build something on Flare networks because of the idea, concept of a protocol managed wallet and TEEs coming together. Then you throw on, the fact that they're building out this Flare AI kit as well. Projects are standing in line waiting to build, if you will, on Flare networks. I got to tell you that. Well, Jerry, much love from the Ireland, man. Thanks for checking in, brother. Hope you're doing well. Carl Billies is in the building, says, let's go. Mighty fine day to you, CJ. Mighty fine day to you, bro. Appreciate you checking in. Brian Hearns is here. Alt season begins October the 16th, 2025. I hear you. It's right around the time we're expecting, I think that this one we're expecting more of the protocol managed wallets as well for Flare. Miguel Castilla says, as long as there is risk stake in my XRP, I worry about that. No matter how low the risk is, I would be very hesitant participating. I've seen that movie before. Yeah. And so there's measured risk, right? I look at it that way as measured risk. I didn't take I took a fairly measured risk with Celsius, fairly, in that, again, it was fairly measured, not measured enough. But yeah, and no one could blame you, Miguel. No one could blame you. I've learned that you got to have a really, really good measured risk approach to the space for sure. And I think the biggest challenge that people are having is being 100, taking finding something they're excited about and then being 100% in it. Finding out they're excited about XRP staking and taking all their XRP going over there and staking it, right? Finding out that you can lend over here and you don't have to borrow, you can only lend your XRP, and then taking all their XRP and going to lend over there, right? Not taking measured risk, I think is the kind of the big mistake that people have made and or learning. For example, even with this recent smart contract by way of price manipulation that took place on Cetus protocol, you wonder if people had all of their SUI there. SUI. You wonder if there were people who did that. And maybe they're in the LP pool or doing some something over there. You wonder if that happens. So I can say I definitely don't blame you for sure. The measured risk approach, I think, is number one. It helps the digital asset space as a whole. Imagine if no one participates and everyone's just hanging out. Then TradFi, with all the intermediaries, they're going to win because TradFi has convinced regular retail people to let us do your stuff. We're gonna charge you. We're gonna put as many intermediaries between you and your money, and they have become accustomed to doing that. Retail has. So the approach to decentralized finance is obviously measured risk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of an asset that you value, right? Obviously, the vast majority self-sovereign and self-custody, right? These type of things, but measured risk. And for me, I always think, how can I think DeFi is the answer to retail. How do we make it better? It's measured risk and participating, right? No one should be taking all the FLR tokens, for example, and be in liquidity pools in 4 different pools, and it's all their FLR, right? So, it's things like that. It's a measured risk approach. That's gonna be, the big time thing. So Rick says arriving late, we'll hit the like button. Yep, I hear you. Appreciate you checking in, Rick. Waiting till the big institutions come in with better security and no risk involved. Well, it's not ever going to be no risk. There's never going to be no risk involved in losing your assets, bro. Like ever, never. There's never going to be any risk in losing your assets, especially in crypto. There is no such thing as no risk. A lot of people get hoodwinked and bamboozled by the idea of FDIC and or insurance, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't exist. In fact, if there isn't risk, there isn't opportunity. So, no risk, that doesn't exist for sure. You just got to measure the risk versus being in crypto is the risk already. The fact that you have taken your hard-earned, dirty, nasty fiat and bought crypto is risky. The fact that you hold crypto as opposed to a treasury, right? A treasury note or bond. Holding crypto is more risky than holding that. So you've already taken the risk. You're already risking what it is that you have, right? So there is no such thing as no risk, right? There's always a measure of risk. You just got an element to risk or levels of risk. It's just we have to measure the risk reward, right? I don't know if you were in the space way back yonder, but at one time, G7 nations had banned Bitcoin. Literally, not G20 or 30 or 50, G7, the top 7 countries, nations in the world. Imagine being a Bitcoin holder and G7 nations are banning the asset. There was a few times we were wondering if the digital asset space was going to be back then was going to be around at all. Was this a big, huge failed experiment? Right? What's going on, Triple G Facts Bet? How are you, bro? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So I understand what you're trying to get, but we're never going to get to no risk. That's just, well, again, I say this all the time. The biggest risk to your assets is you, the person, right? We say de-risk yourself. And how does one de-risk themselves? They got to level up what it is they know about this space. They have to level that up. Like what is your self-sovereign strategy, game, IQ? How good or bad is it? What does your self custody, cold wallet storage, um, um, what's the word? House look like? What does that look like? Is it polished? Is it still under work? Is it a finished product? Or how do you self custody on a scale of 1 to 10? What is that looking like? Right, right. So it's not, as my mentor used to say, it's no such thing as a risky investment. It's risky investors. What's going on, Contact Fu? It's been a minute, my bro. What's up, CryptoCeej? Right? Life is good, man. Right? So we got to de-risk ourselves. Right? We have to de-risk ourselves. Like one of the things is, what do you know about the Federal Reserve? What do you know about fractional reserve banking? What do you know about the FDIC? Right? Could you explain the fiat dollar Ponzi scheme if you needed to and how it works? Right? That's part of risk because you got to know. Right? Remember that saying, ignorance is bliss? No, it ain't. Ignorance is not bliss. As my mentor used to say, ignorance is devastation. Ignorance is bankruptcy. Right? Mix in the building. What's going on, bro? Perplexity. Billy says, I've been wearing perplexity out, trying to figure out some of the stuff. Is there any? Is there any? The way that you can actually chat with somebody or talk to somebody, you like that thing called the phone. Yeah. Talking about the AI perplexity, right? I mean, between Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok, right? So that's the real deal. We ultimately we just gotta level up and de-risk ourselves. You know, that is the ultimate. That's the ultimate challenge. Like, how many guys have watched that interview with Flair and Jake? How many times have you watched that? Learn what they got building on. I mean, if FLR token is an asset you hold, if XRP is an asset that you hold, did you watch that video? How many times did you watch it? Did you take notes? Right? Miguel says, rather be in crypto than the fiat system. Willing to take that risk any day. Yeah, I hear you, bro. Kung Tech Fu, the creature from Jekyll Island, is the creator of the dirty, nasty fiat fraction reserve, a system of debt. Yeah, and just yeah, that whole system is so important to understand because it helps you to want to become a better digital asset holder, right? You know, I was watching a young man. He was talking to an older guy, and the older guy was like, back in the day, we owned more homes. There were more homeowners. Now, no one owns their homes. And the young guy was like, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to say anything that's going to offend you. He said, no, no, no. OG was like, no, 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 please. He said, screw owning a home. This was the young person said, right? And I thought, okay, young person's Okay, get it. There's a big difference between a mortgage and renting. Big time difference. And but he goes on to say the stock market, giving them 10% in the stock market. And then he used another point of trading and how one of these people that are in the 1% of traders turned 400K or 100K or 40K, I don't know what it was, to 4 million. And I thought, wow, those are really two bad examples. The stock market and a professional trader. The stock market and a professional trader. Hmm. Stock market less than 12%. Hurdle rate is 12%. Stock market on average is 10%. It's still 2% behind. Then professionally trading is, I don't know, is it 1%, 2%? I mean, a professional trader, those are not great examples. To the alternative to owning a home, those are not it, in my opinion. Digital asset space is, in my opinion. Certainly Bitcoin is. But to suggest don't own a home, rent, and put your money in the stock market. Mm, mm, or become a professional trader. Mm. Rick says, I did watch that video. That's what gave me the idea of the program on managed wallets and TEEs was one day going to custody Apple stock valued on the blockchain and gain yield on stock value too. It's coming in the future, definitely. Commodities will come for sure. Um, did you guys know that David Schwartz said, um, what did he say? Pay attention to the next Ethereum. Keep your eye out for the next Ethereum. Schwartz is saying that. I didn't know he was saying that. I don't know if I ever heard him say that, but apparently that's what he's been saying. And what do we say on the channel? Kind of feels like Flare Networks, that layer one EVM blockchain, is becoming the promise of what Ethereum hoped to be. I mean, who knows? Still a long way to go. It kind of feels like it, right? Kind of feels like that. I got to tell you. Yeah, definitely want to check out that video, fam. Definitely want to check out Hugo's interview. He's dropping some nuggets there. Decentralized prime broker, a new form of lending called this neo bank lending or neo lending. Um, Fascinating for the fact that they want to build. Uh, they are building out a way for people to lend an asset and borrow stable coins and or mint stable coins. I guess mint stable coins. Interesting. Looking at building out a product very similar to Ethena, hopefully better, to grab market share there. Um, yeah, and especially when these projects again can come on Flare and they can leverage speed and cost as well. Um, you know, yeah, without the madness that is Ethereum, yeah, it's a big time value add, this Flare Networks, right? To me, it seems like it's a big time value add. So I wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you guys to check out that video, Jake Claver. Um, let me see if I can't do this. Is that his YouTube channel? Is it Claver's YouTube channel? I think it is. I'm gonna share the link for you guys as soon as I get it up here, so you guys can watch the rest of it. I'm gonna hop off here. Um, oh, it's almost done. Oh no, it's playing this whole time. So let's do this. Copy. So the long and the short of it, or the TLDR, as the young guys like to say, is Flare Network has a lot of promise to it. and can't wait for more and more of it to become a realized promise. I'm very, very excited and looking forward to version 1.1 hopping on Flare, on Flare mainnet. Looking very, very for FXRP. Really looking forward to what that's going to look like. Jury is still out on Songbird. I don't know, man. The jury is still out. I don't know if the concerns are valid or not. I don't know. I'm still trying to piece it together as to is Songbird, the network, this Canary network, going to establish value unto itself? Or is it going to merely rely on Flare networks? My understanding is that other chains and projects from other chains will use Songbird. I was thinking about this question asking Hugo when I interviewed him, and that is, what's the value add to Songbird? What's the value add to projects looking to, why not test, run their own, they build something on Ethereum. Why not just do the standard testnet, alpha and beta? What's the value to the project and future customers for that particular product to be tested on the Canary network that's from Songbird, which is the Songbird network, which is the Canary network? What's the value add to them? There's a guy out there, I think his name is Ben Rogers. He's really sold on Songbird network. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what is that value add? Someone said something about Flare Networks leasing out Songbird network to products or projects. And again, what's that value add? Is it because of real money? What's the value add? What kind of mechanisms or features that allows for another level of testing the Songbird offer? Do they offer some other kind of next level features that allow you to better test your project? So that's the thing that I'm kind of figuring out for Songbird, because yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough. So we're going to see for sure. We're going to see how that goes. Because the price right now, I don't know if more people are alarmed. More awareness about the value add of Canary Network, or Songbird rather, needs to get out. People need to understand it, and it has to make sense to them, because the value add for Flare Networks is becoming more and more and more and more and more evident. Where does the value ad come from? Like, what is it? Speak it, promote it, talk about it. That is the concern right now, for sure. And so people are kind of wondering, and like, what is it again? Again, because people can start a project and then they can go to testnet and alpha and then beta. Like, why does that project want to use Songbird? That's the thing that I'm trying to understand, trying to get, like, why would it? Originally people were on the tokenomics, and they were on, well, Flare is going to test every new protocol or whatever on Songbird. Yeah, that's Flare. But will other projects, in other words, how are you going to create demand for Songbird, that Songbird token? Something has to happen there. I know people want to talk to tokenomics and say there's only a certain amount. So again, what is that going to look like? Version 1.1 will stay on Songbird for minting FXRP, right? That's my understanding. Or is it leaving? No, hold on. What is that? What is that latest thing? They didn't change the minting cap. The minting cap is still 750. But my understanding, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, that even when the version 1.1 moves to Flare mainnet, it's staying on Songbird. That's my understanding. And so I thought that that value was, again, for Songbird holders who want to still provide collateral, mint FXRP, because they're Songbird holders, they'll still be able to do it. Um, so I was excited when I first heard that a few weeks back. So I think nothing's changed. It's just right now the cap is 750 for minting, 750,000 for minting on Songbird. So that's my understanding. So Rick Cisnero says his investment is all in the flare. I hear you, bro. Right. And so that's kind of, I know they got what? They got the whole SFIN and Apsis and those kind of things over there, right? As well. So why did Polkadot's Kusama do what it did? I don't know. I wasn't in the Polkadot ecosystem to kind of understand um, why the Kusama token did so well. Um, Polkadot, I don't know what's going on in that ecosystem right now, but so we're gonna have to. I guess we're gonna have to see in a way. Uh, we're gonna have to see in a way because right now I don't see it. I don't. I'm trying to understand it. I hold Songbird, quite a bit, but uh, I need to better understand. And I think that's a great question. Why is some new project that maybe is not going to build on Flare going to use Songbird? Some EVM project, why would they use the Songbird Canary Network? I think there's kind of divided. I think people think that other projects are gonna use it and test on there, but is that because they're only going to go on Flare, or is it projects that just want to use the prowess of Songbird, the Canary Network? And if there's some kind of prowess, if there's some kind of big thing that it does, an awesome thing that it does in helping a project test, what is that? Right. So there's that. There is definitely that. So we'll see. All right, fam. So I put that link there for that YouTube. Definitely level up. Know what you hold. Know what you hold. Understand, we've still got big time promises for Flare networks, and we want more of those promises to become realized promises. And looking like latter part of the summer and fall, we're going to begin to see more and more realized promises on Flare networks. And I just can't, I got to tell you, I can't wait for it. The talk coming in June, Hugo's going to speak not once, but two separate times at the XRPL Apex coming up in June in Singapore. He's going to speak not once, but twice. So I don't know if that means maybe he's part of a panel once and then he's presenting once. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to hear from him. So, all right, fam, there it is. Do me a favor, guys. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, please do so on the way out. That'd be really, really cool. Again, you know how we do. We always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. And it really helps with the algorithm on YouTube to help to get this channel out to more people who don't know about this new financial system that's being built right underneath their nose. They don't have to suffer through a 12% every year starting or having to make up for 12% loss in value. 12% of their assets, 12% loss every single year. And their income is not nowhere near a 12% pay raise every single year. But there's this new financial system that can net them 50%, 100%, 70%, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, right? It's out there. So hitting that like button to help more people out because we need more of us, right? I always say, Miguel, we need a new 1%, right? We need more of us in this space, right? Each of us need all of us, and all of us need each of us. And so together, when we come together, we can win and fight the system that has been rigged against us deliberately. So, you know, the idea of becoming a debt slave is that's just a reality. It's not some concept. It's a reality. And we can let more people know, make them become aware, then they can make their own financial choices as to which crypto, as to what ecosystem, how to play this new financial system, et cetera, et cetera. So do me a favor and hit that like button. And by the way, if you happen to be in that 55% or so of people that are hanging out, listening to and watching the CryptoCeej, do me a favor. If you've been enjoying those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And oh, by the way, the Old Money Doesn't Want You to Win merch is out there. If you want to grab some of that, you can grab it without the CryptoCeej on there if you'd like to do that as well. Different colors, awesome colors for sure. There'll be a link in the description of all my videos if you want to check out that merc as well. All right, fam, listen, don't forget to ring that notification bell so you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this or perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.